My name is David Chun, and I'm a meteorologist for the National Weather Service. For 15 years, I've studied atmospheric patterns, predicted storms. He explained weather phenomena to people who just want to know if they should bring an umbrella. I understand how rain works. Water evaporates, forms clouds, condenses, falls down. Gravity isn't optional. It's the most fundamental rule. But 3 months ago, I watched security footage of rain falling upward in a residential street in Oregon, and I've been trying to explain it ever since. I can't. This started with a phone call on a Tuesday morning in August. My supervisor forwarded me a message from a small police department in Corvallis, Oregon. They had weather-related footage they wanted analyzed. Possible equipment malfunction. Possible hoax. They weren't sure. "Can you take a look and tell us if this is real?" the detective asked when I called back. "Send it over," I said. "I'll let you know." The email arrived 10 minutes later. Single video file timestamp from 3 days prior. Sunday, August 13th, 2:47 a.m. The footage was from a residential security camera, fixed angle showing a quiet suburban street. Maple Lane, according to the detective. Empty road, parked cars, streetlights providing decent illumination. It was raining. Heavy rain, the kind that comes down in sheets during a summer storm, except the rain was going up, not slowly drifting up like some kind of weird updraft. Not a few drops behaving strangely. All of it, every single drop of rain was falling upward from the ground into the sky, fast, like someone had reversed the footage, but it wasn't reversed. I could tell immediately. The timestamp was running forward. The car headlights in the distance were moving in the correct direction. The trees were swaying naturally in the wind. Everything was normal except the rain. I watched it 3 times before I accepted what I was seeing. Rain was falling up, violently, rapidly, shooting from the pavement into the clouds like gravity had inverted, just for water in this one specific location. I ran every diagnostic I could think of. Checked the metadata file was original, no signs of editing. Examined each framed or CGI artifacts, no obvious manipulation. Ran it through analysis software that checks for digital alterations. Nothing. The footage appeared to be genuine, which was impossible. I called the detective back. "Where exactly is Maple Lane?" "Residential area, west side of town." "Why?" "I need to come look at it, in person." "This footage, I can't explain what I'm seeing from my desk. You think it's real?" "I think I need to see the location." I flew out 2 days later, rented a car, drove to Corvallis, met Detective Sarah Morrison at the police station. She was in her 40s, tired eyes, the look of someone who'd seen too much weird stuff lately and wanted it to make sense. "Thanks for coming," she said. "I know it's a long way for what might be nothing. Show me the street." We drove to Maple Lane. Quiet neighborhood, mature trees, well-maintained houses, normal suburban street. Nothing unusual about it at all. Except for one thing. "It's empty," I said. Sarah pulled over, killed the engine. "Every house on this block, 13 properties total, all vacant." I looked at the houses. They weren't run down. No broken windows, no overgrown lawns. They looked maintained, but empty. No cars in driveways, no lights inside, no furniture visible through windows. When did people leave? That's the thing. They didn't exactly leave. They just aren't here anymore. What does that mean? She pulled out a file folder. Start with the Thompsons at number 47. Family of 4. Last confirmed sighting was August 10th. Neighbors saw them that morning. By evening, the house was empty. No moving trucks, no goodbye to neighbors, no indication they were planning to leave. Just gone. Maybe they left in a hurry, without their cars, without their belongings. We checked inside with the landlord's permission. Everything's still there. Furniture, clothes, family photos on the walls, but no people. She flipped through more pages. Same pattern at every house on this street. Between August 10th and August 12th, everyone disappeared. 73 people total. No signs of struggle, no evidence of foul play. They just stopped being here. And the rain footage was August 13th. Early morning. Yeah, the first time the camera caught anything unusual after everyone vanished. I got out of the car and walked to the middle of the street. It was a clear day. No rain in the forecast. Hot sun, blue sky. I stood there looking at the pavement, at the houses, at the trees. Everything looked normal. Has it rained here since the 13th? I asked. Sarah joined me. Twice light showers. And both times ... It went up. Yeah, we set up additional cameras to verify. Same result. Rain falls normally everywhere else in town. But here, on this specific block of Maple Lane, it goes up. I pulled out my phone and checked the weather data for the area. Normal precipitation patterns. Normal atmospheric pressure. Nothing unusual about the local conditions. Mind if I set up my own equipment? I asked. I want to measure this properly. Be my guest. I spent the rest of the day installing sensors along the street. Barometers, hygrometers, anemometers, cameras, everything I needed to capture and analyze the next rainfall. The forecast showed a storm system moving in tomorrow night. Perfect. Sarah arranged for me to stay at a hotel nearby. Call me when you get data, she said. I want to know what the hell is happening to my town. That night, I reviewed everything I could find about Maple Lane. Property records, historical data, geological surveys, looking for anything that might explain an atmospheric anomaly this severe. The street was built in 1973, developed from farmland. Before that, the area was part of a larger agricultural property, dating back to the 1890s. Nothing unusual in the historical records. No industrial accidents, no chemical spills, no weird events. Except for one thing. In 1952, before the neighborhood was built, there was a house on this land. A single property, owned by a family named the Harpers. On March 3, 1952, the entire Harper family disappeared. Father, mother, 3 children, gone without a trace. The house was searched. No signs of struggle. All belongings left behind. The case was never solved. The property was sold in 1954. The old Harper house was demolished in 1972, and the land was subdivided for the Maple Lane development. I didn't think much of it at first. Unsolved disappearances happen. They're tragic, but not supernatural. But the dates stuck with me. March 3, 1952. I pulled up historical weather data. On March 3, 1952, there was a severe thunderstorm in the area. Records showed unusual atmospheric conditions, rapid pressure drops, erratic wind patterns, heavy rainfall, and buried in the archived news reports, I found something that made my skin crawl. A brief mention in the Corvallis Gazette-Times, dated March 5, 1952. Witnesses report strange weather phenomena. During search for missing Harper family, several deputies claim to have observed rain moving in wrong direction during storm. Local meteorologists unable to explain reports. Rain moving in the wrong direction. 71 years ago, in the exact same location. The next evening, the storm arrived. I was set up on Maple Lane with all my equipment, cameras recording from multiple angles. The rain started at 8:34 p.m. and immediately it went up. Not gradually, not with some weird transition. The moment the first drops hit the pavement of Maple Lane, they reversed direction and shot upward. I watched through my camera viewfinder, my brain struggling to process what I was seeing. Heavy rain hammering the ground, then instantly reversing and flying back into the sky. The sound was wrong too. Instead of the normal patter of rain hitting surfaces, it was more like a constant whooshing sound. Water being pulled upward against its nature. My senses went crazy. air pressure dropping rapidly. Not normal storm pressure, this was something else. A localized vacuum effect, like something was pulling atmosphere upward from this specific location. Temperature dropping, wind patterns inverting. Everything was moving up instead of down. I ran into the street, rain hammering upward all around me. If I held out my hand palm down, rain would shoot up and hit my palm from below. It was disorienting, wrong, made my stomach turn. Then I noticed something else. The rain wasn't just going up randomly, it was flowing towards something. I followed the trajectory. All the upward falling rain was converging at a single point above the street, maybe 200 feet up. A spot where the rain would shoot upward, reach that invisible point, and then disappear. Not disperse into mist, not blow away in the wind. Disappear, like it was draining into something. I set up my laser rangefinder, trying to measure the exact location of that convergence point. The readings were nonsense. The laser was bouncing back with impossible distance measurements, like the point was both 200 feet away and infinitely far away at the same time. My Ray Leo crackled. Sarah's voice, distorted by static. "David, you seeing this?" "Yeah, it's all flowing upward to a single point, like a drain in the sky. That's not all. Look at the houses." I turned. The vacant houses along Maple Lane were glowing, faintly, a soft luminescence coming from inside, visible through the windows, not electric lights. Something else. Something that pulsed slowly, rhythmically. "What the hell?" I breathed. "My officers are reporting the same thing. Every empty house on this block is doing it." The rain intensified. The whooshing sound got louder, and above us, that invisible point where the rain was disappearing, something was changing. The air was distorting, like heat shimmer, but cold. Reality bending around that spot. And then I saw them, people, dozens of people, standing in the street. Not clearly, like shadows, or after images, or reflections in water. But they're transparent figures, standing in the rain that was falling upward around them. Men, women, children, all facing the same direction, all looking up at that point in the sky. "Sarah," I said into the radio, my voice shaking, "are you seeing people in the street?" Static then. Negative. Streets empty on our monitors. But they weren't empty. The figures were right there. I could see them. Dozens of transparent people, standing in the upward rain, watching something above them that I couldn't see. One of the figures turned toward me. It was a woman, middle-aged. She looked familiar somehow. She raised her hand and pointed, not at me, past me. At one of the houses I looked where she was pointing. Number 47, the Thompson house. The first family to disappear. The glow inside that house was getting brighter. And in the window, I saw them, the Thompsons, all four of them, standing inside their empty house, looking out at me. But like the figures in the street, they were transparent, not quite real, caught between here and somewhere else. The youngest Thompson kid, maybe 8 years old, pressed his hand against the window. His mouth moved, forming words I couldn't hear. Then the rain stopped, not gradually, all at once, like someone had turned off a faucet. The figures in the street vanished. The glow in the houses died. Everything went back to normal. Just a wet suburban street on a summer night. I stood there shaking, rain-soaked, staring at empty houses. My equipment had recorded everything. Video, atmospheric data, measurements, all of it. But when I reviewed the footage later, the figures weren't there. Just empty street, rain falling upward, houses glowing. But no people, no transparent forms, like only I had seen them. Sarah met me at my hotel an hour later. I showed her everything. The data, the recordings, the historical connection to 1952. "So what are we dealing with?" she asked. "Some kind of atmospheric anomaly, a gravitational distortion." I don't think it's meteorological, I said slowly. The rain going up, that's a symptom, not the cause. Something is pulling things upward from that location. The rain, the air, the people. The people disappeared before the rain started going up. No, I think they've been disappearing for 70 years, maybe longer. The Harper family in 1952. Now the Thompson family and everyone else on that street. The phenomenon happens, people get pulled somewhere, and then it goes dormant again. Waiting for what? I don't know, but every time it activates, it's during a storm. Heavy rain, like the rain triggers it somehow, or marks it, shows us where the boundary is. Boundary to what? I pulled up the weather data from March 3rd, 1952. Again, look at this. The storm that died was unusually severe for the season. Same with the storms in August this year when people disappeared. Both times we had rapid atmospheric pressure changes, heavy precipitation, and then ... this. So storms activate some kind of portal or whatever this is. Maybe. Or maybe the thing that's taking people affects weather patterns as a side effect. Either way, when it's active, rain can't fall normally because something is pulling upward. Can we stop it? I don't know. We'd need to understand what it is first, and I have no idea. We sat in silence for a moment, then my phone buzzed. Weather alert. Another storm system was forming. Expected to hit Corvallis in 2 days. It's going to happen again, I said. The next day, I brought in additional equipment. More sensors, better cameras, electromagnetic field detectors. Whatever I could get my hands on. Sarah evacuated the surrounding blocks. If this thing was going to activate again, she didn't want anyone nearby. But I stayed. I had to see it, had to measure it, had to understand. The storm hit at 11:18 p.m. on August 21st. The rain started falling upward immediately. This time, I was ready with thermal cameras, M detectors, everything. The data was insane. Massive electromagnetic disturbance centered on that convergence point above the street. Radiation across multiple spectrums. Temperature anomalies that made no sense. And the houses all, 13 of them, lit up again with that pulsing glow. The transparent figures appeared in the street, more of them this time, maybe 100, all standing there, faces turned upward, watching that point in the sky. I moved closer, setting up equipment, taking measurements. That's when I heard it, a sound, coming from above. From that convergence point. Not a natural sound, more like breathing. Massive, slow breathing, like something enormous was inhaling. And with each breath, the upward pull got stronger. The rain wasn't just falling up anymore. It was accelerating, shooting upward faster and faster. My equipment started to lift. Light objects, papers, loose gravel, all of it rising into the air, drawn toward that point. I grabbed onto a parking meter to anchor myself. The pull was getting stronger. The transparent figures in the street weren't just standing anymore. They were rising, slowly lifting off the ground, drawn upward, toward whatever was up there. And I could hear them now. Dozens of voices, overlapping, speaking in unison. It's hungry. It's always hungry. The rain shows you where it feeds. The Thompson family appeared in their doorway, still transparent, still wrong. The father spoke, his voice echoing strangely. We tried to leave. We can't. It pulled us up during the first storm, but it didn't finish. We're still here, caught halfway, waiting for it to finish, pulling us through. Through to where? I shouted over the roaring sound of rain shooting skyward. Somewhere else. Somewhere up. It opens when the rain falls. It opens enough for us to see through, but not enough to escape. The pull was getting stronger. I was holding onto the parking meter with both hands, now, feet lifting off the ground. Above me, that convergence point was becoming visible, not as a physical thing, but as an absence, a a spot where reality had been scooped out, a hole in the world leading somewhere that wasn't here. Through it, I could see something, a sky that wasn't our sky, stars that weren't our stars, and rain falling upward into nothing, feeding something vast that I couldn't comprehend. It takes a little more each time, the Thompson father said. His form was starting to stretch, distort, pull toward that hole, until there's nothing left but the rain. Just rain, falling forever upward, into the thing that eats realities. The other figures were stretching too, elongating, being pulled through that impossible hole in increments. "You should leave," one of them said, the woman who'd pointed at the house, "before it notices you, before it decides you're close enough to pull." But I couldn't leave. I was holding onto a parking meter while physics tried to invert around me, watching people being slowly consumed by something that shouldn't exist. My cameras were still recording. My sensors were still gathering data. Even if I died here, someone would find the evidence. The breathing sound got louder, the pull stronger, and then, like before, it stopped, all at once. The rain cut off. The pull released. I fell to the ground hard, gasping. The transparent figures were gone. The houses went dark. Normal summer night. Wet street. Silence. I lay there on the pavement, staring up at normal clouds, normal stars, a normal sky with no holes in it. But I'd seen it. I'd measured it. I had proof. Except when I checked my equipment later, half of it had been destroyed by the electromagnetic interference. The footage was corrupted, static and distortion covering the critical moments. The only clear recordings showed rain falling upward into empty air. No figures, no hole, no breathing thing that fed on precipitation and people. Just impossible rain and empty houses. Sarah found me there an hour later, still lying on the wet pavement. "Did you get what you needed?" she asked. "No. Yes, I don't know." I sat up slowly. "It's not weather. It's something else. Something that uses storms as camouflage. Or fuel. The rain falling upward isn't the anomaly. It's the waste product. It's showing us where something is feeding. Feeding on what? Everything. Air, water, people, reality. Little by little. Every time it opens during a storm, it takes a little more. Can we stop it? I don't know. We'd need to understand it first. And I don't think we're equipped to understand something that eats dimensions. The next morning, I submitted my report to the National Weather Service. I included all the data, all the measurements, everything I'd observed. They filed it under Unexplained Phenomena and told me to move on to other projects. But I couldn't move on. I've been monitoring Maple Lane for 3 months now. Remote cameras, automated sensors, weather tracking. The street is still empty. All 13 houses, 73 people gone, caught somewhere between here and there, being slowly pulled through during each storm. It's rained 4 more times since August 21st. Each time, the rain falls upward on Maple Lane. Each time, the figures appear for a moment, a little less distinct, a little more stretched. They're being pulled through slowly, consumed bit by bit, and each time, that hole in the sky opens a little wider. I measured it. I have the data. With every storm, the radius of the affected area grows by approximately 3 feet. At this rate, in 2 years, the entire town of Corvallis will be within the zone where rain falls upward. In 5 years, most of western Oregon. In 10 years, I don't want to think about 10 years, because that thing up there, that breathing, death-feeding thing that pulls water and people and reality into somewhere else, it's growing, slowly, patiently. The rain shows you where it feeds, and it's getting hungrier. I've tried to warn people, published papers, given presentations, shared my data. Nobody believes me. They say it's equipment malfunction, atmospheric anomaly, optical illusion, but it's none of those things. It's a whole a tear, a place where something else is slowly pushing through into our world. And every time it rains, it opens a little wider. I'm writing this from my hotel room in Corvallis. I've been here 3 months. I can't leave. Someone needs to document this. Someone needs to watch. Because when the rain falls upward, you can see through to the other side. And what I've seen there is vast, and hungry, and patient. It's been feeding for longer than we've existed. That incident in 1952 wasn't the first time. I found records going back further. 1923, 1899, 1867, always in the same location, always during storms, always taking people, always growing. The rain falls upward because gravity works differently near the hole. Because up and down lose meaning when you reach close to something that exists in directions we don't have words for. I'm watching the forecast right now. Another storm system forming, due to hit Corvallis in 3 days. When it arrives, the rain will fall upward on Maple Lane again. The hole will open. The transparent people will appear a little less than before. And the feeding thing will take another bite out of reality. I'll be there, measuring, recording, documenting, because someone has to. Because if this thing keeps growing, if it keeps spreading, eventually everyone will see what I've seen. Rain falling upward into nothing. People being slowly pulled through holes in the air. A sky that breathes. And when that happens, when everyone finally believes it'll be too late to stop it. The rain has already shown us where it feeds. We just haven't understood what that means yet. Investigators note, Dr. David Chun was found deceased in his hotel room in Corvallis, Oregon, on November 18th. Cause of death, drowning. Medical examiner noted presence of water in lungs consistent with drowning, despite Chun being found in his dry hotel room, in his bed, with no water sources nearby. His equipment showed elevated electromagnetic readings and atmospheric disturbances. Security footage from Maple Lane, reviewed after his death, shows no rain anomalies during any recorded storm since August. All footage appears normal. The street remains empty. Local authorities have found no evidence of the phenomena, Chun reported. His claims are considered the result of stress-induced psychosis. Case closed. However, I should note, when we removed Chun's body from his hotel room, we noticed something strange. He wasn't casting a shadow, not from the overhead lights, not from the lamps, not from any light source. It was noon, clear skies, sun directly overhead. But David Chun casts no shadow at all, as if gravity had already decided which direction he belonged, as if something had already started pulling him upward, one piece at a time, until there was nothing left but his body, waiting to follow. I filed this observation in my report. It was removed by my supervisor, but I'm writing it here anyway. Because 3 days ago, it rained in Corvallis, and in my backyard, I watched one drop of rain, just one fall upward. Just for a second. Just enough to notice. I haven't told anyone. I don't know who would believe me. But I'm watching the forecast, and I'm starting to understand what David Chun was trying to warn us about. The rain is falling upward, and it's not stopping.